Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhantatamsya He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dhintu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namaste Tatta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hare Vanchakalpatarubhyasya Kripa Sindhubhyo Cha Patidhanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaura Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavani Paschante Deshatarine. So all glories to Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. Hare Krishna. I'd like to welcome everybody. Thank you for joining us for the Sunday program. Today is a nice auspicious day. Devotees later on, after Prasadam, will have a little seminar today on the importance of worshipping the deity or picture of Krishna at home, how to set up an altar at home. In your home or in your room, how to set up an altar, how to offer bhoga, how to offer naivedya or bhoga to Krishna, and how to offer a simple arati, and the importance and the rationale behind all of that. So that's a seminar which is going to happen today. And so Lalita Devi asked me if I can just speak today a little bit about deity worship. So to kind of get everyone started on the path. And so then later on, we'll have a wonderful seminar, how you can set up a little altar at home and offer bhoga to the Lord and artik to the Lord. So it's 11:40. I'll speak for about 40 minutes, 10 minutes of questions and answers. Anybody who's here for the first time, very first time to an ISKCON temple? Okay, I'd like to welcome you. And Prabhuji, you've been here before? Yes, you've been here too. Okay, all right. Hare Krishna. So today we are discussing a topic which is worship of the divine image of the Lord and its significance. So what is the significance of worship of the deity? That we're going to discuss today. So it is described in the scriptures that there are, when we are practicing bhakti yoga, we practice a sadhana, a practice. Sadhana means practice, to purify our consciousness, right? The goal is to purify our consciousness, which means to purify our life, purify our thought patterns, purify the samskaras in the mind. Our mind, this is a big secret. Our mind is a storehouse of impressions called samskaras. And our life, our thinking, feeling, willing, our actions, they instinctively and inexorably follow those impressions, whether we know it or not. Our daily life follow those impressions which we have collected in our mind. Worship of the divine image of the Lord is a very, very powerful, very potent, very mystical, and very transformative method to actually very quickly replace those samskaras. Whether it be material desires, whether it be tendencies in our mind which we don't like, whether it be degrading potencies of our mind, whether it be the ignorance and passion we may be covered with, all of those can be purified by properly worshipping the divine image of the Lord. Our scriptures say that there are two tracks, like railway, you've seen a train, it runs on two tracks. Two tracks on which the train runs very smoothly. So let's say our life is that train, our bhakti yoga practice is that train. It requires two tracks. One track is called the Bhagavat Vidhi. Vidhi means rules and regulation or discipline. Vidhi. Discipline of Bhagavat. And another one is called Pancharatrik Vidhi, or the discipline of worshipping the divine image of the Lord. Bhagavat Vidhi means hearing and chanting. So we were doing kirtan. As our main practice, most of you are aware, our main spiritual practice is chanting of the holy name of the Lord on our beats and then in our mind. Yes? We also are ordered by the Lord, by the scriptures and by our acharyas to propagate the glories of the Lord's holy name and to propagate his glories. This is a sacred commandment given to us. All of this is called Bhagavat Vidhi. Personal hearing and chanting and trying to glorify and broadcast the glories of the Lord to others is called Bhagavat Vidhi. Queen Kunti in Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, she says a very beautiful prayer. Shravanti, Gayanti, Grananti, Abhikshna Shah. Shravanti. those who hear about your glories. Gayanti, those who sing your glories. We do Damodar program, go out and sing Lord Damodar's glory in everybody's home. We go out and do Harinam Sankirtan. We distribute books about Krishna to others. We go and do home programs. We organize, Alec, Prem Sindhu Prabhu, Alec. So many programs we try to do. What is it? Gayanti. We are propagating the glories of the Lord. Shravanti, we talked about hearing the glories of the Lord. Shravanti, Gayanti, Grinanti, and to accept. And to accept the glories of the Lord. Shravanti, Gayanti, Grinanti, Abhikshnashaha, uninterruptedly. Abhikshnashaha means uninterruptedly. Smaranti Nandanti Tavehita Janaha. And Smaranti Nandanti, they remember the son of Nanda, and in that way they benefit the whole world. Tavehita Janaha. So Shravanti, Gayanti, Grananti, Abhikshnashaha, Smaranti Nandanti Tavehita Janaha, Te eva Pashyanti Achirena Tavakas Bhava Pravaho Paramam Padambhujam. What it means is, we discussed the first two lines. Smaranti Nandanti Tavehita, Hita, they benefit the whole world. Bhava Pravaho, this pravaha of our mental impressions, our assembly line of birth after birth. Bhava pravaha, it is called pravaha of this material world. Bhava pravaha paramam padambhujam. By remembering your lotus feet, we can finish this. So these are these two methods. Bhagavat Vidhi and worship of the divine image of the Lord. Bhagavat Vidhi means to remember, to chant, to glorify the Lord, and to spread His glories in myriad ways is called Bhagavat. But most of us cannot do that 24/7, can we? That Bhagavat Vidhi is supported by, and it is complemented by, and it is supplemented by Pancharatrik Vidhi or Archana Vidhi or worship of the divine image of the Lord. Like that, these two things run on a parallel track. The greatest preachers, the greatest devotees who are preaching and traveling, you will see that they will carry an altar with them. I have seen, in the Dyumna Swami, Aindra Prabhu, Chandramauli Maharaj, Niranjan Maharaj, they have an entire traveling temple which goes along with them, wherever they go. And they are very regulated in their worship. And that regulation of worship and that regulation of traveling and preaching Krishna consciousness, it complements one another. We will talk a little bit about the spirit of deity worship. Before we go into the more logistics, what is the spirit of worship of the Lord? Srila Prabhupada once said, people are looking for God. Yes, people are looking for divine. They go to different seminars and retreats and gurus. They may go to Himalayas or Ganges or holy places to seek God. Isn't that true? Srila Prabhupada said, people go here and there everywhere. But we are saying, here is Krishna. Here is Krishna, take him. That God we are looking for, that Krishna we are looking for and we are aspiring in Goloka Vrindavan, he has come down as an avatar in his divine deity form. Now take him and serve him. What is the difficulty? Meaning Prabhupada is saying that this deity is Krishna. I want to become a devotee of Krishna. I want to become Krishna conscious. Yes, that is the goal. Yes. Here is Krishna. Narottam Das Thakur says that to go to places of pilgrimage and to read too many books is actually a disturbance for the mind. Here is Krishna. It is not that deity is in the Krishna. Deity is Krishna. Here is Radha and Krishna standing. Now you take him. You take him meaning you take him and you serve him. What will you do in Goloka Vrindavan? What will you do if you become fully liberated? What will you do? That liberation which does not have the support of the service of lotus feet of Krishna, scriptures describe that as like a phantasmagoria. As a phantasmagoria. And people cannot stay on the platform, they fall down. So Prabhupada is saying, here is Krishna, you take him. You take him and you serve him. This is the spirit of Vaishnavism. In Vedic culture, the entire, from the king onward, the king was the ruler of the town or the village or the kingdom, him and his entire praja, they would serve the deity. So today the names of the towns, whether it's Keshavji in Mathura, Vrindavan, Tirupati Balaji, Pandharpur, Badrinath, Kedarnath, Haridwar, Rishikesh, all of these towns are based upon the name of the deity. And the culture was that the king, along with his entire praja, everybody, the temple would be in the center of the town, and everybody would identify themselves as the servant of the Lord. Everybody identifies themselves with the deity. If you talk about the biggest acharyas and Goswamis, in the songs, they are remembered for the deity they worshipped. Rup Goswami is associated with Radha Govinda. Sanatan Goswami with Radha Madan Mohan. Raghunath Das Goswami with Radha Gopinath. So the entire town and villages and cities were named after the deity. Deity was the proprietor. He was the enjoyer. A farmer would produce and bring his produce to the deity. A florist would bring his flowers to the deity. A cloth merchant would bring his cloth to the deity. In Jagannath Puri, if they get married or they have a birthday ceremony, first thing they do is they bring the invitation to Jagannath. They call him Jagga. Now Jagga sounds like a dacoit. Like a dacoit. In Bollywood movies, they would have this name, Jagga. You know, a Gunda will be called as, you know. I was talking to one Odia person and he was telling me he's going to see Jagga. And I was confused for 1 second. Or they call him Hariya. Hariya. They call the deity Hariya. Hariya again is the name of a very, like a nickname of somebody like, you know, who do kind of washerman kind of job. So like this is the spirit of Vaishnavism. Srila Prabhupada wanted the spirit revived in the whole world. Never before in the Western countries, deities have been worshipped before Prabhupada put his foot on the Western soil. Never before. Never before. In at least last, 3,000 to 4,000 years ago. History. And so what is the purpose of the temple? The purpose of temple is that everybody who's associated with Columbus Krishna House, they think and they identify themselves as servants of Radha Nadpur. Very beautiful verse Mahaprabhu used to say, Naham Vipra na cha Narpati na Vaishyo na Shudro, Naham Varni na cha Grahapati na Vanastho Yatirva, Kintu Prodyan Nikhil Paramananda Purna Mritabdhir Gopi Bhartu Pada Kamalayor Das 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 Anudas. And this is a mantra which devotees, when they go on the altar, they chant. It is to remove all our material designations, all our material identifications, and to only remember oneself as a servant of the Lord. The spirit of Vaishnavism means that my entire life is dedicated to the service of the deity, to remembrance of the deity. Now, of course, in Kali Yuga, Prakriti, people have to move either for job or whatever. That is all right, but still, devotees should try as much as possible that Radha Nadpur is my Lord, I am their servant, and my life is meant for their service. That is the spirit of worship. That first have to be inculcated in one's consciousness very, very strongly. Krishna is here. Why should I go here and there for sense gratification? What is the need for me to go here and there? I can come and spend my time with Krishna right here. In the spirit of Vaishnavism, devotees would often give their life for protection of the deity. If there was an invasion by a foreign invader, devotees would say, "Over my dead body." And they would literally mean it. They would either make sure the deities are located to a kingdom which is well protected, or they would hide the deities, or in some cases when the attacks were sudden, they would basically just stand in front of the deity and they would say, "Over my dead body." In Sri Rangam, once the foreign invaders attacked the temple, and the men were building a wall. They knew they were coming, so they were building a wall, and the wall wasn't completed as they came. So all of the women, they climbed on the wall and they would jump on the Muslim soldiers, on the foreign invaders, on the soldiers, and they would basically die in front of them. And they were bewildered. What is this happening? Like that. Many devotees, they gave up their lives in service of Vishnu. Many times there were debates. If there was a Shaivite king, he would persecute the devotees of Vishnu. And one very famous pastime happened with Ramanujacharya. He had a disciple called Kuresh. So the king was Shaivite and he wanted to kill Ramanuja, but he had never seen Ramanuja. He knew that everybody wears white and Ramanuja wears saffron cloth. So Kuresh took up Ramanuja's saffron cloth and his danda. And Ramanuja took white and Ramanuja left the town. And they captured Kuresh. And the king basically plucked his eyes out. Then the story goes on and Ramanuja said, "You go to Ranganath and you ask for your eyes. He'll give it to you." So when Kuresh went to Ranganath, Ranganath said, "You take your eyes back." He said, "I don't want my eyes." He said, "No, you have to ask something from me." He said, "You just give me this one benediction that in my heart I can always see the lotus feet of my Guru, of my spiritual master. This is the benediction I want." So this is a little bit about the spirit of Vaishnavism. One of the objections against deity worship is people say that it is a stone. That it is not Krishna, it is your imagination, it is a stone. Yes, you have heard that. Now, our scriptures and our acharyas explain that this is a very mystical thing. Krishna is omnipresent, we know it. And he is omnipotent. So Prabhupada said, if Krishna is everywhere, people say, God is everywhere, why do I need to go to the temple? Well, if he's everywhere, is he not in the deity? If he's omnipresent, then why can't he be in the deity? And his omnipresence, our acharyas explain, is a dynamic omnipresence. Dynamic in reciprocation to the love and faith and service of a devotee. Because he is omnipotent, because he has all potencies, if he wants, if I come to Krishna in the mood of loving devotional service, in a mood of pure devotional service without any desires, he can reveal himself to me. That revelation is mystical, magical and transcendental, and that cannot be theoretically explained. It cannot be. Anybody who serves Krishna knows that reciprocation from the Lord. That reciprocation has to be felt in the heart and to be seen with eyes which is tainted with the salve of love of God. It cannot be seen or experienced with material intelligence, argument and tark, vad vivad. It has no role in that. Because it is, Prabhupada would say, you should be very careful, you're dealing with Krishna. Sometimes, even devotees have a mistaken idea. I wish I can see Krishna dancing. thought itself is erroneous. I wish I can see Krishna, or he would speak to me. This thought is itself erroneous, because Krishna is not my servant. Krishna is not my order carrier. He will reveal himself to me in small degrees, in small proportions, based upon my surrender and service. And like the gopis prayed, that sometimes Krishna remains far away from the devotee, hidden from him, so that the devotee can come a little bit more closer to Krishna. If Krishna were to just completely give only his mercy, then devotees will take it for granted. So sometimes Krishna is hidden away, so that the devotee can surrender more and pray more and really reach out to him in a mood of surrender and service. And it's a test from Krishna of one's faith, one's patience, and one's most deeply held core beliefs. So that is also a reciprocation. Both by his mercy and revelation, and both by his absence and testing, he is ultimately purifying us and drawing us closer to him. Krishna is seen in proportion to our love. It is also seen in proportion to our bhava. When Krishna is entering the wrestling arena of Kamsa, this is a very beautiful graphic description which very graphically illustrates this point of Krishna's reciprocation with people. Okay? Yes, let's understand if Krishna is a stone. So Krishna himself, the adolescent Navyovan, Vraj Krishna, as a 12-year-old blooming adolescent boy with head bedecked with peacock feather, with lotus eyes, he's entering Mathura. And there, this entire town is present. Entire town. And Kamsa is present. And other kings are present. And the Brajvasis are present. And Krishna and Balaram enters the arena. So how do they see Krishna? What do they see? What do they see? Can anybody tell me? What do they see? What did Kamsa saw? Kamsa saw his death personified. He saw Yamaraj. Chanura and Mustika, with whom Krishna had come to wrestle, what did they saw? You know what did they saw? They saw thunder and lightning. They saw a thunderbolt coming to them. They did not see Krishna, they saw thunderbolt and lightning coming to them as a rod of chastisement. The common men of Mathura, what did they saw? They saw a beautiful human being. Common man of Mathura saw a very beautiful adolescent human being. What did the young girls of Vrindavan, gopis who were there, what did they saw? They saw Cupid personified. Somebody is seeing him as death. Somebody is seeing him as thunderbolt. Somebody is seeing him as a beautiful human being. Somebody is seeing him as Cupid personified. What did the cowherd men and women, the grown-up cowherd men and women who had come from Vrindavan, what did they saw? They saw an intimate relative. What did the impious kings who were friends of Kamsa, what did they saw? They saw an opposing king who has come to chastise them. What did the parents of Krishna saw? What did Yashoda and Nanda saw? They saw this most beautiful, charming, lovely child. Among the townsmen, those who were dull and stupid, scriptures describe, those who were dull and stupid, what did they saw? They saw a stone. Those who were dull and stupid, they saw a stone. Krishna revealed themselves, I am a stone. He says, whatever faith you actually approach Krishna with, whatever bhava you approach Krishna with, Krishna makes that faith solidified. If one wants to worship a demigod, yo yam yam tanur bhaktaya, shraddhayam ichchati. You want to worship demigod, Krishna as Paramatma will make your faith steady so that you can worship him without any guilt. To yogis in the Kamsa's arena, what did they saw? Premvilas Prabhu said the super soul. They saw the Paramatma which they were looking for in their heart. And what did the Vrishnis, what did they saw? Vrishnis, his intimate relatives, they saw as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So these 10 rasas, Vatsalya, Madhurya, Virya, Bhibatsa, Sakhya, all of those rasas are present. And similar explanation is given when Lord Ram entered Ayodhya after 14 years of Vanavas. So what we see is a dynamic omnipotency and omnipresency of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. It's very dynamic. And it is not that we can order him. It has to be by a transcendental method of revelation and his mercy. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Manmana bhava, mad bhakto, madhyaji mam namaskaru, mamay vashyasi satyam te pratijanahi priyosam. Now, Pavaneshwar Prabhu explained very beautifully. Manmana bhava. First thing when we come to Krishna is one has to give one's subtle body to Krishna. One's mind, one's intelligence, one's ego, and one's chitta, consciousness. It is not that my consciousness and my mind and my ego is attached to other things and I can come and see Krishna. Man mana bhava. First thing is mana bhava. Give me your bhava. Give me your mind. Give me your intelligence. Give me your ego. Ego meaning when I enter the door of the temple, I should think I have entered the abode of Krishna. I have entered Goloka Vrindavan. Now it is Krishna and I am his servant. And I am a servant of the servant. This is the real mood and method of entering a temple. With that mood and methodology, one will have never any problem in the temple. If I always enter Krishna's abode with this mood, that I am Krishna's servant. So man mana bhava, then mad bhakto, become my devotee. And Pavaneshwar Prabhu was explaining, mad bhakto means engage your senses in the service of the Lord. Sarvapadhir vinirmuktam. Okay? Man mana bhava. Sarvapadhir vinirmuktam. Tat paratvena nirmalam. Rishikena rishikesha sevanam bhakti ruchase. When one engage one's senses in the service of the master of the senses, then same senses become purified, and with those spiritual senses one can perceive Krishna. Honoring prasadam is service. Washing the pots is service. Taking a broom and cleaning the temple is service. When we come here, one should ask, what is my seva here? What is my service? What service can I render? Chanting Krishna's name is a service. Kirtan is a service. Serving the devotees is a service. What is my service? Manmana bhava means to give our subtle body to Krishna. Mad bhakto means to give our gross body to Krishna. Mad yaji. Yajna. Yaji. Yajna. Yajna means sacrifice. Sacrifice everything for Krishna. Beautiful flowers for Krishna. Beautiful garlands for Krishna. Beautiful temple for Krishna. Beautiful clothes for Krishna. Beautiful ornaments, jewelry, deities, offering. Prabhupada says temple worship means gorgeous festivals, opulent dressing, and sumptuous prasadam. That is what temple worship means. Not that how I can offer less to Krishna, but how I can offer more, better. That's dynamic. It's not static. It is dynamic. What more? What else? What else could be there I can do for Krishna? So it's a dynamic worship, and that fills our heart with joy. If my heart is not filled with joy, why not? Why is Krishna not reciprocating? Man mana bhava mad bhakto mad yagya. Yagya means everything in this world should be offered to Krishna. Devotees in the early days, if they would go to like a grocery store, they would take something and they would mentally offer the entire grocery store to Krishna. You know, we went to Las Vegas with devotees, and there we went to a place where the whole place was full of flowers and floral arrangements. Venetian, it was Venetian. We went to a hotel called Venetian in Las Vegas. There were so many flowers, like millions of flowers. People come from all over the world to see those flowers. And all of the devotees in unison were saying, oh my God, I wish we can just keep Radha Nadbar here. Madhyagya. Just bring Radha Nadbar also here. Then everything is perfect. Madhyagya. Yagya means to perform everything as a sacrifice for Krishna. So any work which is done as a sacrifice for Krishna. Man mana bhava mad bhakto madhyaji mam namaskaru. One should come and pay humble obeisances to Guru and to Krishna. Like that. And then Krishna says, Satyam te. You know this for truth, that I will enter your mind. Lord Chaitanya has promised that He will enter our mind at the time of death. He will forcibly enter our mind. We cannot forget. We have seen practically devotees who do some service, either bringing honey for the Lord, or making ghee wicks for the Lord, or making flowers for the Lord. They become very attached to the Lord by that seva. If you do that service for a material person, it becomes hackneyed. You do it for Krishna, it brings newer and newer and more increasing and increasing taste. Again, it's a very dynamic interplay of increasing taste. I go to work, it becomes hackneyed. People want change. In devotional service, the change is simply better quality. So, like that, Krishna says, Janahi prayosi me, and know this for truth. Satyam te, I am speaking you the truth. And because you are my very dear devotee. Deity worship and worship of the divine image of the Lord, it brings many things which are ordinarily desirable. It brings discipline. It brings discipline. I see people have such unregulated lives. Having a little deity at home or coming to the temple every day brings discipline. In Radha Govindaji temple in Jaipur, everybody, about 20,000 people come in the morning before they go to work, and about 50,000 people come in the evening after they come from work. If we do some program, do some service, we have some cooking engagement or Sunday morning dressing engagement, it brings a natural regulation and discipline in our life. Devotees who like to do vegetable cutting, Mother Kamagiri has been cooking for the Lord for the last 50 years. It keeps the Maya away. It keeps Maya away. So we have a lot of Maya in the life, a lot of distraction, a lot of temptation, a lot of these things. Take up a regulated service in the temple. It automatically brings discipline in all aspects of life. One, before commits sinful activity, one thinks, I'm going to go to Krishna. I'm going to be cooking for Krishna tomorrow. Can I do this? I'm going to be doing this for Krishna. Can I really do this? Like that. So, deity worship, meaning engaging all our senses, it brings a sense of responsibility. Love, what we call love, proceeds in many stages. The first is duty and responsibility. It's not that the love of God suddenly will descend and I will feel lovey-lovey. First is duty and responsibility. I have a little responsibility. I have a duty. I keep doing that. Duty and responsibility. That is the first stage of love. The first stage of love is fear. Second stage is doing service with duty and responsibility. Something is miss in the temple. I have to do it. I have to fix it. I'm speaking from personal experience. It really keeps all of the Maya away. So it brings regulation. Next is bring cleanliness. It brings cleanliness. The standard of cleanliness is 2 showers or 3 showers every day. Very clean. Clean clothes, clean house, clean living, clean everything. If I come to the temple, if I serve Radha Natbar in any way, it naturally brings a goodness or a mode of cleanliness in my life. I see patients in the hospital, most of them are sick because they are so unclean. Many people take shower once a week. Many people use the toilet once in 4 days. It is like that. So temple worship brings cleanliness. It also brings punctuality. Such an important quality to develop. Punctuality. At noon, there is arti. At 6:30, there is arti. Those devotees, we are not all living in the temple. Devotees who are living in the temple, they are all here at 5 in the morning. Every single day. They are here. Those devotees who are not living in the temple, there is scheduled offerings and artiks. One can make one's life in a way that at least on the weekends or on weekdays, I can come at the time of artik. There is a time of artik, I can come and I can sing for the Lord, offer artik to the Lord. It brings timeliness, punctuality. It brings responsibility, which is the first step towards love. It ultimately helps us develop a very deep and a very intimate connection with Lord. We may not have faith that Krishna is standing right here. That is all right. But Bhakti Siddhanta said progress means small steps in the right direction. Okay, so it's 12:20. I will stop here. These are some of the thoughts about importance of worship of the deity in our life. I spoke about the spirit of Vaishnavism. I spoke about the Man Mana Bhava Mad Bhakto verse. I spoke about how one's fidelity to Guru and Krishna. Prabhupada has given in North America, we have about 50 temples where deities are installed. Cincinnati may not have deities. It's our very, very good fortune. Very, very good big fortune to bring people to somehow or another connect with Radha Natbar. They will never forget Radha Natbar. Two things nobody can forget. One of Prabhupada's disciples told me. Two things nobody can forget. Krishna and Prabhupada. I was asking one devotee, I had not seen him for many, many years. And the devotee just as a matter of fact said that if you have ever served Krishna or met Prabhupada, you can never forget these two things. It is not possible. Like it is not possible for a jiva to approach infinite. It is also not possible for a jiva to reject infinite when infinite himself wants to approach him. It is not mathematically, numerically possible. Okay, so those are some of the thoughts about worship of the divine image of the Lord and understanding one's as a servant of Krishna. Any discussions about this or any questions? Krish Prabhu?
Difference between deities, idol and statue. Can you elaborate on that?
What is the difference between deity, idol and statue? It is the difference in one's consciousness with which one approaches something. First of all, I should know what Krishna is and what bhakti is. Let's say I am a surgeon. When I open somebody's stomach, I can tell this is colon, this is gallbladder. If somebody who has not been trained in surgery, if he opens the stomach, most people pass out. Most people will pass out. So first thing, difference between deity, idol and statue, first is knowledge. First is knowledge. Knowledge about who Krishna is, who Lord Chaitanya is, who Radharani is, what parampara is. That knowledge has to be obtained from the scripture or from devotees. There are two kinds of faith. One is Laukika faith, Laukik Shraddha. Yes, my grandmother worshipped Krishna, so I am also worshipping Krishna. Another is Shastrik Shraddha. Faith which is based upon the injunction of the revealed scriptures and pure devotees. So first thing is I have to develop Shastrik Shraddha and knowledge. First thing. Then, when I come with those eyes of knowledge, and when I come with that salve of love, which is tinged on my eyes, then I see the form of the Lord as the Lord Himself, by His revelation, by His mercy. My heart will feel joyful. I want to dance. My heart will feel full of joy and happiness and bliss. And I can meditate on Krishna in that form throughout my day, like that. That same deity, we call it the word deity, D-E-I-T-Y, that same Krishna who has come as an Vigraha, as an Archa Vigraha, as an avatar who has come, and because of His omnipotency and omnipresency, He has infused that stone, metal, wood, paper, color, whatever it is. An uninformed person may call Him an idol. What does an idol means? A Bhut worship. Even those who may criticize idol worship, you may see in many different traditions in Islam. I was in a plane and they're praying ultimately towards a stone. Kaaba is a stone. In Christianity, you see there is an altar, there's a cross, and people are praying. So, yes, Krishna, yeah. So two things are important, three things: knowledge, faith, which is based on scriptural revelation, and service. Then I can understand that it's not an idol or a statue. A statue could mean a material thing. A statue could mean like a statue of a great person.
Why do you guys say that don't touch the deity, don't touch Krishna? Like a devotee may actually feel that this is the Krishna, this is Him, and I want to touch His feet, I want to seek His blessings. Then what's wrong with touching the deity?
Okay, good question. Why not touching the deity? First of all, there is nothing wrong in seeking deity's blessings. Coming to deity for the prayer and seeking His blessings is great. Directly touching, physical touch with the deity. Let's say you're dealing with a very, very important person. Very important person. And let's say the president of the country comes to Columbus. Yes? There is his secret service, his staff. They put like barricades all over the city or not. The entire city comes to a halt. Is that not true? Let's say a big popular person, a sports person or a movie star comes. Can anybody go and touch him? No. Similarly, Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, we are dealing with Him. We have to be very careful dealing with Him. We can touch Him, there is no objection. But all we need is a little qualification. Just a little qualification. Krishna is so merciful that what about touching? You can bathe Him. Now you cannot bathe the President of the United States. You can dress Him. He becomes completely dependent upon you as a helpless child. As a helpless child, he becomes dependent upon you. Bathe me, serve me, touch me, fan me, feed me, do everything to me. Just a little qualification is needed, which is keeping in line with observation of proper etiquette. That is all. Sure. What question can you ask and what can I answer? So we'll leave it to somebody else. Mahatma. Okay, since you...
Yes, when we're talking about the deities of Lord Krishna, may be understandable because Krishna is omnipotent and omnipresent. So what is the difference between the deities of some other gods, like demigods? How are they bona fide? And also, how is that different from a statue of a human being or a popular human being? What is the difference of a statue of a popular human being and a statue of a demigod who is not like Krishna? Why is it recognizable? What's the difference between a statue of a human being and a demigod, his his deity also represents him, even though he's not Krishna omnipresent in that sense. What's the difference?
What is the difference between the statue of a human being and statue of a devata? Well, materially speaking, both serve one purpose. They both serve to remind us of him. Yes, whether it's a statue or a photograph of a person or anybody else, it helps us remind of him. People do put pictures of their children or their parents in their home. Yes. The form of a living entity is not eternal. Is it eternal? No. It's a temporary form. One heroine, very popular Bollywood heroine, right now she's about 80 years old. After she became 40 years old, she banned anybody from taking a picture of hers. When she was asked why, she said, I only want people to remember me as I was 21 years old. Many people, as they grow old, they feel they're especially beautiful. They feel an intense loss and suffering. So these are temporary material forms. But they still, if they have done something good, if they were great people, if they were an embodiment of values which we cherish, we may look at their photos and we may feel inspired. The form of Vishnu is eternal. It's an eternal form. It is a form which is made up of Sat Chit Ananda. When I'm looking, I'm not looking at matter, I'm looking at spirit. Anything associated with Krishna is purely spiritual. This is not material, it's pure spiritual. It just requires a little training and intelligence to understand this principle. That I am looking at Sat Chit Ananda form of the Lord. It is not matter interacting with matter. It is matter directly in presence of the Spirit. And that interaction, that exchange is what is beneficial to the living entity. That reminds us of the soul, original's nature, original bhava, original swarupa. So Vishnu is eternal. Devi Devatas, they are empowered. And like Lord Shiva, Mahaprabhu, whenever he would go to a Shiva temple, he would dance and chant in ecstasy. Similarly, there are gradations in Devatas. But Devatas, they live for a very long time. They are able to render benedictions. Worshipping them, we can get many benedictions. Gopis would pray to Lord Shiva and worship Lord Shiva. Young unmarried girls are recommended in the scriptures to worship Shiva for getting a beautiful, very qualified husband. So like that, Devi Devatas are very empowered representatives of the Lord. They can be, their forms can inspire us. Their forms can, we can pray to them for their blessings and benedictions, because their forms, although not eternal in the supreme sense, their forms live for thousands of years, hundreds of thousands of millions of years, like Brahma. So like that. So those are some thoughts. Any comments?
Also, they exist on the subtle plane, so they're able to inhabit the deity in a way that a human being can't inhabit their statue.
In a spiritual way, they are
Not spiritual, subtle.
subtle.
Subtle, yes.
Subtle. Okay.
I was thinking idol is not made according to the scriptural injunctions. It is a concoction. When Muslims say that idol worship is bad, what they are saying is something which is not exactly. Deity is made according to the scriptural direction. The form of the Lord is described. Idol is something mentally concocted. You know, I make a form and I just start worshipping. So that's what I was trying to say.
Very good.
Like the golden cow. I believe the golden cow. Just a second.
I don't know. Lalita thinks that I know everything. Many
There is an injunction of the worship of the golden cow, which was basically a creation of some people's mind and not scripturally authorized, and it was forbidden by Jesus.
Moses.
Moses, yeah.
Thank you so much for very, very wonderful class. I'm really grateful to Shri Prabhupada for giving us this eternal nectar which has divine taste, which satisfies our heart and ears. So all glories to Shri Prabhupada.
All those wishes. Thank you. So the roles now will have